seeing all kinds of people jumping in. It's beautiful.
Virginia.
Very cool.
Pennsylvania and Michigan are well represented.
Good. Pennsylvania. I don't think we've gotten Pennsylvania past couple of weeks, have we, Dave? Bethany.
I don't think so.
No, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, a lot of Michigan. Awesome. Well, again, if you're just joining us, please be sure to turn on your video. Let us see who you are. We're not dressed up. We're nothing fancy. We're in our little office here, but we got kids outside playing basketball, and so we're pretty informal tonight. So go ahead and chime in where you're from if you're joining. We're about to stream live on Facebook, so that'll be kind of fun. Be sure to share with your friends. And then we'll kick it off here in about 1 or 2 more minutes.
All right.
So using video to have classroom sessions and things like that, you don't necessarily have to do all the things we're doing tonight, but we're trying to get the message out just to teachers to help them become a virtual classroom teacher. So we are doing a few more things in the background that are a little more complex for doing a virtual classroom session. But so don't let that scare you seeing what we're doing behind the scenes here. So we are streaming Facebook, we're recording the session, all things that you don't necessarily have to do, but we just want to make sure we can get the information out to teachers and just help them on their journey. So that's all. But let's see, I'm going to be watching this here and letting people in, Dave, as we talk, and the participants.
And Todd, I see you're back again. So the email made it to you this time, huh? Awesome. Good.
Good to see everybody. Yeah, welcome everyone. Well, it is, what time we got here? 8:04. We got still people joining. This is great, guys.
Love it.
Yeah, if you're just joining, I've had about 5 or 6 people come in since I last mentioned this, but if you're just joining, please go ahead and take a few minutes and just let us know where you're coming in from in the chat. And you should see the chat up at the top screen. If you hover your mouse up there, you should see a little bar drop down, and that's where you can pop your chat out. Actually, if you have 2 monitors, you can even pop it out and drag it up to your other monitor. If you don't have another monitor, just exit. If you hover up in the very right-hand corner, you can exit full screen mode, and it should drop the panel on the side so you have the video of what we're displaying, and you'll be able to see participants and the chat as well. So tonight's session, we are going to be using some tools. Particularly the annotate tool, and we're going to use the poll tool tonight. So if you don't know where the annotate button is, it should be at the top screen. I'll give you some more directions on that in a minute. So the annotate tool and then the chat on the side, those are the big ones that we're going to be using tonight. So
and I love already, Rich, how you've already like scaffolded for us. You know, we're at the 4th webinar, 4th session, and we just learned how to use those tools, and now you're putting them into action for us already, so we can see how it all works. Well played. It's almost like you used to teach or something.
Yeah, I've had a few years in the classroom, right? So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I thought we better practice what we preach, right? It would be so easy, though. It's the easiest things for us teachers, is to revert back to being that sage on the stage, where we just get up and just talk, right? It's so easy to do that, but even in these virtual spaces, we need to be sure we stop being that sage on the stage, pulling out the old PowerPoint, and try to find some engagement. So that's what we're trying to do tonight as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Looks like we have everybody coming in. Bethany, if you wouldn't mind just observing this here. If someone says in the waiting room, just click and let them in. That would be great. Or just let me know. I'll let them in.
And we've got a few more. We have another Virginia. We've got Tennessee and Ohio now.
So awesome.
Ohio, hold on. You let somebody from Ohio into this?
I know. Sorry.
We did.
Sorry,
oh, but it's Mark. Okay, we're okay. It's Mark. Well, all right. I know Mark.
Sorry, Mark.
All right, well, let's go ahead and kick us off. Again, if you're in, just getting in, show us your video, turn your video on, let us see your smiles. Video is a really important part of these virtual spaces, so let us see you, let us talk to you. You can wave, thumbs up, raise your hand, things like that. So let's go ahead and get started. Dave, Bethany, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Everybody else?
Yeah.
Ready?
So ready.
Okay. Let's go ahead and jump in. So another thing too, in the participant panel, at the very bottom of it, you'll see like a yes and a no box, a little check mark and a red X. feel free to raise your hand or let us know. And, if we're in the middle, one of us will catch that and be able to respond to you if you have a question. So that'd be the best way to get our attention tonight. Also, there's a little reaction tool where you can raise your hand and it'll show up in the screen on our end. We'll see it. So all good ways to get a hold of us in the middle of this conversation tonight. So Dave, let's go ahead and get moving.
Yes, please. I'm so excited. I need this right now.
Oh man. Yeah, it's been a long week of sitting isolated. So Dave, why don't you go ahead and introduce us and just kind of give the reason why we're here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, let me introduce myself for those people that don't know me. I am Dave Schmittou. By day, my title is Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction. And I tell people all the time that title makes people think that I'm supposed to know something about teaching and learning. But the more I do the job, the more I realize how clueless I really am. And I feel like in the last couple of weeks, we all kind of feel that way, where all of our heads are kind of spinning, trying to figure out what in the world we're going to do next. And because of my role, I have the job where a lot of people are emailing me, calling me, texting me and saying, Dave, tell me, what am I supposed to do? And most of the time I say, I have no idea, but we're going to figure this out together. And that's kind of what we've been doing these last couple of weeks with this webinar. I mean, Rich and Bethany, you guys have been absolutely amazing, just holding my hand through this process and guiding me through learning how to use video and use Zoom and teach me fancy words like synchronous and asynchronous learning. And, I feel like every day though, there's a new twist that comes along with this, this new expectation. And you guys are just ready for the challenge. And I think that's what we're up for tonight, talking about how to engage people in that asynchronous environment. Again, I feel it makes me feel so smart just saying those words, but engaging learners in an asynchronous video virtual world. I'm ready for this. It's awesome.
Sounds pretty crazy. Yeah, it sounds pretty fancy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not fancy. Well, anyway, thank you, Dave. So my name is Rich Boudry. I currently, I work for Chick-fil-A. I'm in the principal lead of digital learning at Chick-fil-A. We are in a scramble right now to make everything virtual. So by evening, I'm doing this with y'all, but by day, I am helping Chick-fil-A become virtual and their whole training org, so we can keep supplying those awesome Chick-fil-A sandwiches. We also have a little, I guess it would be a nonprofit little startup called The Organic Learner, and it's just all about helping people become independent learners in this crazy digital age that we're now living in. So Bethany?
Yep, and I'm Bethany. We are married, so we share a home office right now, full time, because we're both working from home. We've both found ourselves suddenly remote. And I'm a former teacher. I taught for 10 years. Actually, Dave Schmittou was my principal my last year of teaching in
I drove her out of not only teaching, but out of the state of Michigan.
Yes.
I take full credit.
And
Thank you, Dave.
That's not true at all. But long story short, he jumped into corporate learning and we relocated. So I resigned and found myself ultimately in the learning space in corporate learning. So I sit in the learning and development department of a SaaS company. That's software as a service. For those of you that are not familiar with SaaS, I'm not sassy too much. And so that's the history. So we have been known before as the nerdiest ed tech couple around, and I think we're kind of proud of that. So we're happy to share with you because we've seen so many of our former colleagues and our own kids' teachers and just friends that aren't even in education kind of trying to figure out which way is up in this new virtual online learning world that so many people have found themselves in. So we've got lots to go and lots to share.
All right.
Yeah, and if I can, just to try to set the stage, I know you're going to do this in a second, Rich, as we talk through, but I want to talk about how excited I am today. The last week and a half or so, I feel like I have just been swimming in this Zoom world, trying to figure out how to make all these video connections with students and with teachers. And I feel like today you're going to take us to that whole new level too, where, I went through these last couple of weeks with visions of grandeur, thinking all of my students, all my teachers are going to be able and available when I am, so we can connect in real time and just have these great conversations, just like school is normal, but from my living room to theirs. And I've realized over these last couple of weeks, it's not always as easy as I hoped it would be. So I'm hoping today you're going to help me solve these problems on how we can still stay connected if we can't connect at the same time, same place. So help.
Absolutely. I'm going to try to help you with that. I love that you said same time, same place, because that's where we're going to focus tonight, on the same time piece
Okay.
of this whole puzzle. So let's go ahead and start with just kind of a quick review of what we've been doing the past few weeks here. So the past, if you're just now joining us, these are some of the sessions that we've gone through the past couple of weeks. We had one session that was dedicated to video, to just using static video. How can you use video from your home office to reach your students, to connect with them? And then sessions 2 and 3, we got a chance to speak with some awesome virtual facilitators, Angela and Christy from Chick-fil-A, and they showed us how to use Zoom. And you can take those tools from Zoom and use them on any platform available. You know, just a quick shot. I know we got a lot of returning folks here. How many of you guys, if you just put a little check mark next to your name, use the green check mark, how many of you all use Zoom this week to meet up with your students? If you can't see the participant panel, just remember it's up at the top of your screen. If you move your mouse up there, you should see that little bar drop down. Some of you might be at the bottom, but you'll see the participant panel, and then you can see the spot where you can click the little check mark to mark if you did. So cool, 6 people, awesome, that's good. If you haven't done so yet, 7 people, so more people are jumping in. So great. If you haven't done so, remember Zoom is free. So so very cool. Todd, not with students, you meet with teachers. That's perfect. So very good. Awesome. So yeah, it doesn't have to be connecting with students. It can be with teachers as well. So perfect. Cool. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about what we've covered. And what we're going to cover tonight. So tonight we are talking about how to use asynchronous video to cultivate this virtual classroom discussion. So we're going to kind of take what we learned about the first 2 sessions, static video, and then using live video. And we're going to kind of smash them together tonight and into this thing called asynchronous video. So I'm going to go ahead and lead us into this next piece here, which is a poll. So I'm going to launch the poll here. And the poll is pretty straightforward. We just going to want to know who's here in the audience. And so the big question is, you know, which industry are you currently supporting your learners? So learners being kids, adults, is it K-12? Is it higher ed? Is it corporates or other? Maybe you're in the middle of something right now and you're exploring, and maybe you're just going to be moving into corporate learning, or I'm sorry, consulting, things like that. So go ahead, and in just a second here, I'm going to stop the polling. Right now I have 10 of 17. A few more folks would be great. If you could go ahead and submit what you are into, that would be awesome. Which industry you're supporting. So it looks like we've got, I'll do 5 more seconds here. How's that? So this is just another feature of engaging your students on a virtual lesson, a virtual classroom session like this. It's polling. You could do multiple choice. You could do single answer, or just like a survey. But I'm going to let end polling now. And I'm going to share the results, and you kind of see where we're all at. So most of us are all K-12, but there are a few of us here that are in corporate learning as well. So we'll make sure we're speaking to both groups tonight. And everything that we're sharing, for the most part, can be crossed between both industries. So some of you in K-12, some of what we're sharing you maybe have heard before. And like, yeah, I've heard about this. But some of you in corporate, maybe not. Some of this is new, and vice versa. So hopefully that will speak into your careers. Let's go ahead and stop this. Okay. So let's talk a few minutes about, Dave, you mentioned a minute ago about this whole big word, synchronous and asynchronous part of it, right? It sounds pretty crazy, but it's not. It's pretty easy. So synchronous learning is basically, as us classroom teachers, it's what us classroom teachers are used to. It's what us corporate trainers are used to. It's when we all get in the middle, when we're all together, we're all learning together. That is synchronous learning. We're doing things at the same time. So synchronous learning is we're synchronized. Think of like synchronized swimming, right? we're doing the same thing at the same time. And Zoom and these live sessions like we're in right now, we are in the middle of synchronous learning. It's happening now, right? Same time, same place, same channel. So that's what we're doing. Now this whole idea around this asynchronous piece is a little different, because as classroom teachers and trainers, you know, we are not necessarily used to this idea of learning together, but not at the same time. Now, maybe we have had moments of that in the classroom where we maybe handed out a worksheet, maybe, or maybe had maybe small group sessions with our students where we had centers. Maybe as we had, I'm trying to think of times in the classroom, Dave, where maybe we have done asynchronous learning in kind of a micro way. Like I'm thinking like centers in lower ed, reading centers and different things where a group is here and a group is here. They're all learning together as they cycle through the centers, but they're learning at different times.
Well, I can even just think about myself professionally when I was taking some classes at the higher ed level, and my professors would say, okay, do these 2 threaded discussion items and read the article and write the essay or whatever. At some point this week, do it and learn, and then just contribute to the threaded discussion. Or I guess I'm even thinking just some of the stuff that we've been doing these last few weeks, although we've been engaged synchronously. I think that's the correct adverb to use, because I've been chatting with you as we've recorded these sessions live. We've also taken all these videos and uploaded them to YouTube, and we've had hundreds of people that have watched them on their own and have learned the same material, but at a time and a place that was more convenient to them. So I'm guessing it could be the same format. So you can do the same thing synchronously, just at a different time. So it then becomes asynchronous.
Yeah, then it would become asynchronous. Absolutely right. So think of e-learning. So a lot of us have had e-learning, especially in the corporate space. We've used a lot of e-learning. Think about your LMSs in your classroom, Moodle, Google Classroom, things like that. When you put things online, that is asynchronous learning. Now, what we've done a really good job of is usually one or the other in our as teachers. We do a great job directing our students in a classroom delivery. We also do a great job sending home homework. That's another good example, I guess, of asynchronous learning, right? They're home alone learning on their own. So, but it's when you take, because of the virtual space we're now living in, it's when you take and mix these things all together. You just take and you blend them all together in this virtual world in the right way. A little bit of synchronous learning, a little bit of asynchronous learning, and put them into this space. And what's really cool, Dave, and the rest of you out here, what you get is this awesome blended learning experience. And if you're in the corporate space, also collaborative. And I guess that could be true for classroom K-12 learning as well, higher ed too. So it's not just learning, it's also a collaboration space where you can work together. So anyway, that is what happens. Yeah, go ahead. And
I'm going to go on my soapbox just for a second and preach. So feel free to tune me out or go earmuffs if you disagree. Continue to listen to Bethany and Rich, because they're a lot wiser than I am. But my head has kind of evolved throughout not just the last couple of weeks, but the last few years on a lot of these concepts. And I know that there are some schools, some administrators right now who are preaching that synchronous learning is the way they're going to go, because they have to find a way to take attendance for kids. They have to make sure that kids are accountable, or teachers are accountable, from 7 to 2 every single day. And I'm just going to simply say, shame on us if that's our mindset. And I say that for a lot of different reasons. But one, just the equity piece. So I'm in a house right now where I've got 4 kids, and I would say that we're educated, we have reliable Wi-Fi, and we've got devices. However, we're still arm wrestling and competing for the devices in our house. We're still competing for the Wi-Fi time. Having an elementary kid and a high school kid both working on things at the same time, because that's what's convenient for their teachers. Although I can't sit next to both of them and guide them, because I'm also working full time right now while I'm online. It's not going to happen. We have to find a way to be flexible to our learners and to our teachers and our people at home who also have their own kids and their own responsibilities going on. I could throw on my HR hat and say, yes, but they're accountable to us. They have to work from 7 to 2:30 because that's what the contract says. Or I can put the human hat on and say, but they're also a spouse, they're also a parent. They've got responsibilities and commitment. So the better we can blend these two worlds, the better prepared our kids are going to be for what the real world actually is. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Go on.
Absolutely. No, and I'll even share a few of those examples today about how we're doing it at Chick-fil-A. So you'll see some real life examples. So going on, now this is where I want a little bit of feedback from you all. I want you guys to kind of think a little bit about where you all fit on this continuum here. So this is where I'd love for you all to just engage with this. There's an annotate tool at the top of your screen. If you click that button, it'll bring up another secondary menu underneath your toolbar. There is a, well, there should be an arrow, and I'm going to click on this button here that shows the name of the people annotating.
So for most of our screens, when you go to the top, it'll say you're viewing Rich Boudry's screen, view options. You click the view options, scroll down, it says annotate.
Annotate. So if you wouldn't mind, there's supposed to be a little arrow in mine. Maybe I don't see it because I'm the host, but if there's a little arrow pointing this way, and if you click on the screen, it should put your name on it. So what I would like you to do is somehow mark on this screen here with your annotation tools. Good, Bethany did, perfect. Mark where you're kind of at. When you think about your delivery model, where do you fit on the screen? Are you blending right now? Are you doing a little bit of both? And I think if you think about it, you probably are. You know, or right now, are you in the synchronous world? You're closer to, hey, I just do Zoom, man. That's all my district has. That's all they've allowed me to use right now. Or maybe you're just strictly all e-learning. You load stuff into Canvas. You know, so maybe you're on that end of the spectrum. So where are you? And currently, that's all we're looking for. And yeah, take a minute to explore this tool for just a second. This is a pretty neat tool. So, Dave, what are your thoughts around this, on where you think, you know, your teachers are at in your district?
Well, I feel kind of guilty right now because I feel like I might have slanted the polling results. We probably should have let people do this before I went on my soapbox. So I apologize. But I'm also just curious to see how people are using the actual tool itself. I'm kind of engrossed in watching people write all over your screen, which is pretty cool. But I think honestly where we are right now is probably different than where we're going to be in a couple of weeks. I think where we are right now is everybody is just trying to make those initial connections with their students, trying to have those class meetings, trying to bring friends together again, just trying to create new norms. So a lot of us are doing some synchronous activities, but then again, we also recognize we're moving into that phase now where we're going to have to start providing some instruction, and we're going to have to try to find some more balance. So I'd be curious to do a similar poll again in mid-April and see where people lie. Yeah,
it's typically it's one or the other. I think if we'd have asked this a few weeks ago, it would have been probably all synchronous. Not necessarily this group here, but just generally speaking. But I think because of the shift over the past couple of weeks, I think we're starting to make that merge. So yeah. It's really cool. And yes, to be expected, I see some checks on the side of asynchronous, a lot of blended, so very good. Let's go ahead and move to the next guy. One more question I'm going to ask. So those of you that are in the blended space and asynchronous, you made your mark here. I'm going to go to this next slide, and I'm going to try to clear everybody's screen. Let's see if I can do clear. Here we go, clear. Let's see, clear all drawings. Got it. Perfect. Cool. Thank you, guys. Now this next one here, I've created this little chart here. So if you are in one of those camps, do you mind taking the type tool? There's a little text tool under annotate. If you click that T, you can actually type in one of these spaces what tools you're using. So I would love to know, and if you wouldn't mind sharing some of the tools that you're currently using for blended, for asynchronous, for synchronous. And again, neither one of these camps are bad. So I don't mean to make it sound like if you're not blended, you're not doing your job. There are tools that I use that do, like someone put Zoom in here. I use Zoom. I use Flipgrid, and you put them together and you get your blended. Google Classroom, that's perfect because that's a nice place that you can bring everything together as a blended platform. I love it. I see BombBomb, Class Dojo, Google Slides, Blue Jeans, people using Blue Jeans, nice. Seesaw, awesome. So yeah, if you can go ahead and anyone, keep it open for just a few more minutes. Google Classroom, sweet. Manicam, I heard about Manicam recently. I think it was somebody from one of these sessions. I can't remember who it was.
I just had to comment on this tool too, just from the instructional side. I love how I can see the name of the person pop up as they're writing this. Just like if it was in my classroom, I could see who's actually writing these responses. That's so cool.
That's awesome. Good. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's all about connecting with people too. So getting to know who's connecting, who's typing in. Yeah. Because I don't know the folks on the call tonight. It's good to see a name to match the name of people. Perfect. So cool. So let's go ahead and move on to the next section. So those are some great tools there. If some are new to you, go ahead and kind of write them down somewhere on a piece of paper so you can remember them for later. But we're about to step into a little show and tell. So real fast, let me clear everybody here. Hang on. Sorry. Clear all drawings. Perfect. Cool. So next, we're going to talk about specifically video and asynchronous learning, because there are many ways to do asynchronous learning, many tools. But tonight, the focus is on video and asynchronous learning. And just a quick recap. The first session we talked about the video is really, really important right now. And matter of fact, it's so important that marketers kick out these stats all the time about how marketing, using video for marketing is so important. I mean, just look at your Facebook feed. All the really engaging pieces of marketing content that's thrown out at you is video. So some quick stats, and then the other thing I wanted to bring up was Zoom. Zoom is the other reason. Zoom, if you just look them up in the news, they are just going like crazy right now financially, because the tool is so powerful. Teachers can use it for free, and it's just such a reliable tool. And it's, again, Dave, I think you mentioned this last time, it's all about the relationships.
Right.
And keeping those relationships going. So video somehow does that. It's that eye-to-eye contact that brings that relationship back.
I've told the story before, and I'll just go on another little rabbit trail if that's okay. But
yeah,
so I have a little podcast that I do, and it's not big. It doesn't, I mean, I'm not making millions of dollars or anything off of it, but it's crazy. I go to conferences across the country, and I get people that come up and give me hugs or shake my hand as though they know me and I'm supposed to know them. And we just sit down and we start talking. They feel like we are truly friends. And it's because I'm in their ears all the time. And we just have that connection because I'm talking to them, or they feel like I'm talking to them all the time. Or they watch the YouTube videos. It's crazy how you form a connection or relationship with somebody just through a computer screen or just being in somebody's ears. So I know we're not going to be seeing our students in person for some time now, but we can still continue to foster those connections and those relationships by putting ourselves in our students' ears and in front of their eyes as much as possible. So
that brings some normalcy back to their students.
Absolutely.
Right? When they see Mr. Schmitto or Mr. Boudry, or Miss Miller there, when they see those faces, that just brings back some of that normalcy that we all need right now.
Yeah.
So capturing video, again, can be as simple as using your phone or your webcam, so don't let that scare you. And it can be as simple as using a simple tripod from Amazon, or even stacking up some books. One of my colleagues, Angela, who presented a couple weeks ago, I could see her computer. She had her books, her computer actually stacked up on some books, so she could actually see. It was at eye level rather than looking up. Her camera pointing up at her. So that was kind of just a neat little trick that she uses. So let's talk about some of the tools. I mean, this is kind of the meat of tonight. So we have 30 minutes to kind of go over some tools that Bethany and I have prepared and done some research around to show you tonight. And so again, they're all around video for the most part. A couple of them kind of flirt a little bit into some other areas, but we're going to stick to video. So one of the first ones we have is Voicethread. And Voicethread, how many of you guys, if you could go ahead and click on the screen and give me a green check mark or a red X. If you have heard of Voicethread, give me a red X. If you have not, give me I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying. If you haven't heard of them, red X. If you have heard of them, give me a green check mark. Okay, good. I see a handful of people. I see 6 people so far have not heard of them. Good. A couple. One person has heard, and that would be my wife. 8, 9, 10. Okay, so great. So a lot of people then. Good. I was wondering if this group was going to know about Voicethread. So Voicethread several years ago entered the world of elementary education, higher, secondary education. They were, oh gosh, it was 2008, 9, 10, somewhere there that we were introduced to Voicethread. We started using it in our classroom. It's a neat little tool. I'm going to actually try to take us on a little virtual field trip right now. So I'm going to stop sharing the presentation, switch over to Google Chrome, and I'm going to actually show you 2 tools right now. I'm going to show you Voicethread. Let me do this so I'm not going back and forth so much. I'm going to show you Voicethread, And I'm going to show you a tool called Rally. I'm going to show you both of those. We're going to bop out to Chrome. So hang on 1 second as I switch screen views. Okay, hopefully everybody can see my screen. Dave, can you confirm?
Got it. Yep, we're good to go.
Very good. I am going to X out of here. Actually, I stopped sharing completely. I'm sorry, guys. I was so close to sharing, to doing it properly.
So these are those moments in the classroom where, you know, you've got 5 kids that are like, wait, I can show you. And they're going to be at home doing the same thing. So I can show you. So we just have to go with it, right?
Yeah, our students will show us how to do things. So, okay, so I'm going to show you Voicethread. And Dave, can you confirm that you are seeing the Chrome?
I've got you. Yep.
Okay, good. All right, cool, perfect. So Susan says, where is the red mark? Susan, if you hover down to the bottom of the participant panel, you'll see there should be you should see a row at the very bottom of that. It says yes with a green check, X with a red X and a no below that. So hopefully that helps you out. So I'm going to go ahead and show you Voicethread. Voicethread is a neat tool because it allows you to post a piece of content. It can be a video, it can be a slideshow, a PowerPoint slideshow. It can be a PDF document. It can be a worksheet. It can be anything, any piece of media. And then you put it in the middle here. And then what you see here, I actually did a little picture-in-picture. I used my webcam to do this. So I recorded the video. And then I send this out in a link, and then once my learners get the link, it allows them to come in here and have a conversation around the video content that I've created. So watch this. I'm just going to hit play for just a second. Hopefully, and it's not going to be perfect audio because we're streaming this over internet, over through Zoom. But let me hit play. Just watch what happens for a second.
First virtual asynchronous meeting kickoff. I hope this works okay. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. So a couple things we're going to talk about real fast this afternoon or this morning. So
I'm going to move us along. So the video is playing. Now, if someone could watch the whole video, now I promised them a link in the video. So I was able to paste the link on the side in the actual conversation that's taking place. So my learners got the link. And
so on the viewer side, they're seeing exactly like what we're seeing right here. They see that.
So you can hear me. Just taking the opportunity to test this out. Actually, let me adjust my camera a little bit.
So yeah, they're seeing the exact same thing. You guys are seeing what the learners are seeing. This is their view. So you saw Dale a minute ago, one of my colleagues. He could respond however he wanted to respond. If I click this button right now, this is live. I could choose any one of these ways to respond. I could respond with text. I could respond over a phone. I could respond just microphone or video, or I can upload a resource. So Dale, he chose to respond by video. And this is Dale.
Hey, Rich. Hopefully you can hear me.
And then Angela, she decided she wanted to reply with text and gave her 2 cents worth. And then Angela replied again. She's like, wait.
Hey, everyone. I just got on my side of town after being at the office today.
And then here's my response back to everybody.
Everybody, thanks for taking a few minutes to view the video. I am looking forward to meeting you all this afternoon. So let me know.
So that is how you can use Voicethread to interact with your people asynchronously. Now, what was neat about this, Dave, and what might not be clear, is that if you can tell in the picture of me down here in the bottom corner, this is me at home.
Yeah.
I launched this the day prior and sent it out to my team, and the team had 24 hours to reply and respond. And that's what they did. That's what you're seeing here.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to ask you. So when you send this out, you tell them, respond. It's almost a video threaded discussion. So you send them some content, say respond, and then you follow it back up with the capstone, summarizing or giving your 2 cents before it goes away. That's right. That's awesome.
That's right. So asynchronous, we're learning the same thing. In this case, we're collaborating over something at different times. So we're asynchronous learning. Now, we did have our synchronous meetings. We still met up. This was meant to be kind of the in between the meetings, in between the live session. This was kind of that collaboration piece that we could continue to talk about, because it was so hard to get everybody's calendars lined up. We're all on different, meetings pulled this way, that way. This allowed us to have a virtual ongoing meeting collaboration throughout the week. And now as a team, we continue to use this throughout the actual task force that I'm involved with right now. So that's Voicethread, and what you saw here is free. It's free.
Wow.
So yeah, this is.
So is this an app, or you just go? Is it web-based?
It is web-based, but they do have an app. The phone app mobile app's not that good, and it's okay. It does the job. It works. But if you're the facilitator or teacher, you're going to want to use the computer screen to do this.
Awesome. That's very cool. Okay.
So that's Voicethread, a fantastic tool, a must-have in your arsenal of virtual facilitating tools. The second tool I'm going to show you is really cool as well. It's very similar in nature. So it allows you to put up a piece of content and have a conversation around it. And this too is free. I spoke with them tonight, and they do have a free version, and it allows you to have one administrator, so one teacher, and up to 50 participants. So that works for most of us in the K-12 space, with the exception of secondary and middle school, where you start getting that 150 count group. So, which in that case you can pay a few, I can't remember what it was, $20 more or something to get like 500 participants. I can't remember. There was another price tag attached to it. But this tool is neat because it allows you to record a video. So I recorded this video here today, and actually I shared this link and a post on, actually I'll share it with you all right now. Well, I'll share it with you at the end here, but you just share a link, and here, I'll play the video. Just using my webcam to take that video that I've uploaded to this interactive player, and that allows my learners or my team members to collaborate around a certain topic. So take a few minutes right now to explore this tool. So along the bottom, you'll see you can go deeper into the conversation. So a couple things. I'm going to back up just a little bit here. So the comments on the side, so people can. So I'm going to pause the video. So what's neat about this tool is it allows again, same running conversation on the side. Okay. So everything is time stamped to the video. But what else is neat about this too is there's not only can I comment on the side, I can also react to what I'm seeing. So I can click the emoji button here and give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, I disagree. So there's a list of things here that we're trying to measure here. So this starts getting into the affective side of learning. I love or I disagree. How are people feeling about what they're seeing? So that's the neat thing about this tool. The other piece I want to show you about this tool as well, this little red dot right here. Watch what happens when the video gets that little red dot. And go deeper into the conversation. Look, the video paused. Now it's forced me, the learner, to actually answer, to stop for a minute, think about what was just said, and answer a question. This is where I'm going to go deeper into, I want my learners to go deeper into what's being presented to them. So this was the question. I get my opportunity to respond to it. Then once I'm done with it, I hit close. Conversation. So the comments on the side, the video picks back up. So that is this tool called Rally. So we will share those links out with you afterwards, or put them in the chat. But those are two of my favorite asynchronous tools right now. And there are other interactive video players out there. So feel free to just do a search for interactive video. But those are the two of the big ones out there.
So Rich, when you're sharing these with your students or your learners, do you just send them a link, or is it a video file?
Yep. I'll take this link right now, copy it. And I'll put it in the chat right now, and you should all be able to click on it and see it.
That's pretty easy.
That simple. I'm thinking I'm pasting the right one. There's a master one. If I go over here, this is the admin side of it, and I can copy it from here. And
looks like it's the same one.
Perfect. So
very cool.
You can also embed it in your LMSs. So if you have this or Google Classroom, they give you an embed code as well. And the other neat part of this too is on the back side of it, there are all kinds of analytics that you can capture about what your students are viewing. So those of us who should be looking at the data and like the data, there's all kinds of data on the back end that you can see into. So it's a really powerful tool.
Well,
Voicethread
I'm seeing you can share to Facebook and Twitter, which is something that we've been investigating in my own district right now, because we know that we're having issues with hotspots and connectivity, yet all of our parents are still able to get on their Facebook pages somehow, going through the cell signal. So even if we can funnel our information through private Facebook groups or something along those lines to our parents, our students might still have access. That's pretty cool.
And that's what's neat about when you move into this asynchronous space is that you do help with, it does help with bandwidth, because when you're streaming video like we are right now, bandwidth can become an issue. Yeah. So this does give you the ability to give back some of that bandwidth when you're going asynchronous, but you're doing it with video like we are. You're still making those connections. They still feel like they're talking to you. So now you're starting to bridge space and time and give back bandwidth. So
that's good.
Yeah. Any other questions before we go?
Yes. Yeah. So we have lots of questions in the comments. Is Rally free? Yes,
they have a free. I was emailing them back and forth. They do have a free, like a beginner license, site license, and that gives you up to 50 students can be in, and one admin, which in our world language would be equates to one teacher. So now it does go up from there. You can purchase I think a couple $100 a month. I'll share that link with you in a little bit. If you go to rally.io, they have it says sign up for account, and they have an account for free. I can give you more details on that. I can look them up when Bethany's speaking in a minute.
But something that I just learned as well. So I work in central office, and we've just learned that Title I is allowing us a lot of flexibility right now to switch and divert where our funds are going, knowing that our service models have changed. So we're actually looking at spending some of our dollars to pick up on some of these services, knowing that they're going to help reach some of our more vulnerable students in unique and maybe challenging ways. So that's exciting to know. So yeah, it's still somewhat reasonable.
Well, I did look at it. It's very reasonable. I want to say for like a big number of licenses, it's like $1,000 a year. I don't know. It was relatively reasonable when I looked at the bigger packages. So as a district level, yeah, it would be a great tool. Highly recommend it. And I do know the folks on the back end that originally started with this company all came from the ed tech space, education space. They used to work for Promethean and places like that. So a lot of those folks that were involved in this in the early days, they do come from the education space. They know how important things like privacy are. So that is baked in the back end here as well.
And another one, and this is regarding Rally and Voicethread. Do you have to log in to be able to see who responded?
That's a great question. So I, as the administrator, I will need to log in to see who responded. But the learners, they don't have. There's all kinds of features in the back end you can set up to where they can log in, they can sign in anonymously. But if I were a class, if I was still in the classroom, I would want my students to log in because I want to see who's doing what, who's saying what. I can also have the option as the administrator, the teacher, to moderate. So a student can post something, and before it's even posted to that comment on the side, I have to approve it. So there's all kinds of features there that that give you some of that control. If you're worried about your students just posting silly, goofy stuff, or the corporate space don't worry about so much because they can get fired. So they got that hanging over their heads. They're going to post appropriate stuff. But students, it can get a little weird. So we have to protect them. And those features are really kind of built in. So you can set it up to do that. Good question. Anything else?
Not.
Can I just reply to a couple more of the Zoom questions I see in the chat? Some people are talking about features that may have disappeared in the last couple of weeks using the free version of Zoom. And we've noticed that here as well. And so I was actually in contact with the Zoom people on Friday just via chatting. And to try to sum it up, basically the free version, it kind of swells and shrinks depending on how many people are using the service at any time. And because there's so many people using the free service right now, those are the first people to start getting some of their available resources cut out of the equation. So the hosting and co-hosting, they're starting to slice and dice that a little bit based off of the number of people that are out there. So if you've got one of the paid versions, they're not touching you. But if you got the free version, they are starting to slice up who has access to what. So
Got
Excellent.
it.
Thank you, Dave. I was
Sure.
I see the instructions right here, but I wasn't sure. So
Yeah.
perfect.
Well, they did cut back our I'm paying $14.99 a month for this account, and they're even dialing back the high def component of it as well. So, which is fine. I want it to be reliable. I'm willing to give up a little high def, the video quality to make sure it's functioning stable. But yeah, it's $14.99 a month, and if you could try to expense it with the district, you get a lot better features other than the free stuff. So
Right.
yeah. All right, moving on. We've got 15 minutes basically.
Oh
to get
my
to the next.
goodness.
I'm sorry, Bethany.
That's okay.
These are really powerful tools here. And so Bethany, this is a great tool. I cannot wait for you to talk about this. This is awesome right here, guys.
All right.
Bethany, you have the helm.
I have the helm. So lots of things here. I'm going to hand this to you so you can man the chat. Just a reminder, if you have questions as we're going, make sure you throw them in the chat and we will get to you. But the first tool that I wanted to share with you all is BombBomb. And I need a little tech support here. So I'm just going to reach out to my tech support here. And how can I pull my other?
Yeah, little chart.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to new share and go to.
So BombBomb is a video recorder mashed in with your email. So for my teachers that are out there that don't have an LMS in their district, this is something that can be so powerful. I have 2 examples queued up to share with you because I wanted to reach out to our teacher audience, but also to our corporate learner audience. Gonna lean more on our teachers based on our poll at the very beginning, but we'll get there if we can. And okay, what's going on?
Are you trying to play it?
Well, it should be, can they see that?
Yeah.
Yep, we got you.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. I'm sorry. So still learning Zoom with this setup. We have 2 monitors here. So think about that relational equity that we mentioned earlier. And the fact, I love what Susan just put inside the comments about her daughter getting together and doing chorus over Zoom. They still want to see each other. They may not necessarily want to see their teacher, but some of them do. And Dave shared last week about his 4-year-old so excited to see his teacher and doing a little dance and movement along with her. And that relational equity is so valuable, even if our students don't always think it is. But there's still a human behind all of that teaching. Okay, so this is what a BombBomb newsletter looks like, or an email, I should say, not a newsletter. I put this in a newsletter form. You can put a video in there of you talking. That can be recorded easily on your webcam, on a laptop with a webcam, or even using a smartphone camera. You can put a call to action inside that video, and you can put any links that you want to here. So I'm not sure why this isn't showing up, but this is an Animoto video. So you can see I'm asking students here, send me a picture on a scavenger hunt this week, find something that you can find the area or perimeter of, send us the dimensions, and we're going to share it in a video similar to this one. And this video I'll share out afterward. It's just a video from like 2013 of my students going around and taking pictures of things and finding the area and perimeter. And we put it in an Animoto afterward to share. An area story problem, and again, this is just math examples going through this first couple ones. This one is a video scribe. Is it playing for you?
It's
super tiny here, but the students can blow this up bigger, and it's a little animated video. So think about all the things that you look for on YouTube or on TeacherTube or anywhere, and you can't find quite the right thing. This is a great tool to be able to build it yourself. It does take a little bit of learning up front, so it's kind of front loaded. It is not free, so I want to warn you that it's not free, but it's a great tool for $37 per month if you want to go ahead and kick out a bunch of those videos so that you have them for the year, because after you have them, you've got the MP4 version, or you can put it on YouTube for future reference.
So I'm going to speak up again on the admin side, $37 a month. So we've got 2 months of the year left. And I'm thinking, so that's totally doable, especially knowing that we can, the money that we've saved over the last couple of weeks because we haven't been in school, reallocating. So that's totally doable. I'm just thinking now from the parenting side, seeing all this stuff in a one-stop shop, oh my gosh, because I'm having a logistical nightmare right now, clicking all the emails I'm getting from all my kids' teachers and going into the Google Classroom every single day and trying to find all those links. This is amazing. If I could get this from a teacher to say, here's what we're covering for the week and here's some instruction, here's some video, game changer.
Right. You should be able to embed those things in Google Classroom or Canvas. This
Yes.
could be, remember, those are your, LMS. Somebody asked what an LMS was. It's a learning management system. So Google Classroom in Moodle and such, those are LMSs. So you could embed those in your LMS, your school LMS, and launch from there. So
and yes, just looking through some of the comments, the BombBomb video or BombBomb email, you can put that link inside anything. So right now what you're seeing, this is open in a web browser, but it's actually a CRM, which is a customer relation management tool. So you can send out the emails to your parents so they have all the tools or resources for the week. And here's the piece that I love about it. So as a former teacher, you all know the boat, right? Data, data, data. We've got to measure it. What gets measured counts, right? So he jumps ship, hops into corporate learning. I find my way into marketing, and I'm working at a marketing agency. And my first day on the job in the marketing agency, I sit down in the office with my CEO, and he goes, Bethany, data without brains is dead. And I'm like, okay, I've been on this data thing with education I'm in a marketing agency right now, but it's so true. Everything goes back to those numbers. They want to see the engagement. They want to see the rate. So with this email platform, you can actually see how many people are opening the email and if they're watching the video. It's kind of creepy and big brothery, but it's not as big brothery as Facebook or other things that are out there. And it's the data behind it for learning.
And I just went in and looked, and you get a 14-day free trial, no credit card needed right now. So just saying.
So, well, that's that. But if you look on I don't have that screen up. It is free for teachers right now. So 14 free trial for non-teachers. That's me right now. But for our teachers, this is free right now, which is awesome. And if you're in a Google Classroom, this integrates directly into your Google inbox. Or sorry, Google District. Okay, so you can see all these tools that you can put right inside of it. This last one here, oh, sorry, not last. I'm going really fast here. This is a Flipgrid connected in here. If you're not used to Flipgrid or familiar with Flipgrid, I'm gonna go ahead and click on that. And you can see, you can put all your resources inside of Flipgrid. My daughter is 11 right now. She misses her friends. And let me tell you, she loves doing Flipgrids because she can see all of their faces coming and sharing. This is a grown-up version on my Flipgrid. It's got 2 people there. I didn't want to share hers for privacy purposes, but I just checked the one that her teacher sent out last week, and they had over 192 responses.
Wow.
So all these middle school faces, they had pets, they're outside, they're sharing so many things, and they're excited to still share life with their friends. They miss their friends. So Flipgrid is great. Yes, no's, how many of you have used Flipgrid before? I'm curious.
That's a little green check mark and the no.
Yes.
On the screen, yeah.
And just a fun fact, I'm not in K-12 anymore, but this transitions so well into the corporate space. Maybe not as much as VoiceThread. Rich uses VoiceThread at his place, which is kind of toned down. This is way more flashy and elementary looking. School. But I've still had huge successes with it in the corporate learning place with my colleagues responding back. Sorry about that. Okay, this next tool that I included in here as a sample is Edpuzzle. And I'm gonna go ahead and clear all of my responses and a yes or a no again if you've used Edpuzzle.
Another great tool.
How are we doing on time? Okay, I'm speeding.
Just a few more minutes. Yeah.
So I have this set as an open class, but generally you could set this so that it's closed and single sign-on for your students. It's an open library of resources, YouTube videos and other teacher lessons. And you can see this is a YouTube video on weathering and erosion. And I'm just gonna put our little
Hi guys,
spot
in this video
here.
we're going to look at how weathering causes.
This is a really bad example because I put on students can't skip on this, so they can't skip forward.
I like
which
that
means
feature.
I can't skip forward as I'm showing this to
So
you.
you mean they can't play fast forward to the end credits?
Correct. So
I love that.
horrible example for you, but a great example because look, you've got those students that you're like, are they gonna watch the whole video? Yes, they are, because you're going to make them. Not really, they might still walk out of the room, but anyway, we love them anyway.
It's like all of us going through our safe schools training, the bloodborne pathogens. We just let it play in the background while we do all of our work. Same thing can happen with, I see the smiles, you know what I'm talking about. The same thing's gonna happen with our kids. It's okay. We need to get to the place where we're not just trying to get kids to jump through hoops, demonstrate mastery, and move on. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. There you go.
Okay, so this video, as you can see on the bottom timeline here, there are these little dots that look like water droplets. Those each represent a question. And you can see over here, it tells your student, look, at 47 seconds, you've got a multiple choice question coming up. At 2 minutes and 2 seconds, you've got an open-ended question coming up, and so forth. So they have to answer it. They get immediate results. And if you sign up as a teacher, which it is for teachers, you have your class set up in here and you'll get all that data back. So you have some data to measure what they've done and put it in your grade book if you need to. Okay, so a lot of people have used Edpuzzle, few people that haven't. This is one that can carry over to corporate as well if you're looking at YouTube videos together. And back to BombBomb. That was all I had in there, but I did want to go through a couple of those tools with you and just tease out a few more examples.
Yeah, 1 minute.
I've got 1 minute to do that. So instead of teasing out those examples, I will just give you a quick preview of using BombBomb at the corporate level for my suddenly remote people, or not even corporate, whatever job you're at, you're remote now. Before working from home for COVID, I had a full-time work from home job with my company based out of London. So I did not see my colleagues that often, but I really truly believe that relational equity matters. And it's really hard to build relationships with your colleagues and get to know them when they're in London and you're in Atlanta. So this was my go-to tool for checking in with them. I would send them a video each week. Pro tip pointer: this is a horrible shot of me in this video, but that's okay. I'm being authentic and real here. And next time I might, work on my lighting. Thank you. So it's just a quick 60-second video to my team. It's a quick recap of what we're working on and what we've accomplished in the last week, what we've got going forward, some links to projects for them to work on in our project management software, and a quick explainer video that we're part of the way through that we need to communicate more with directly on this Slack channel. So just a couple examples for using that same tool in an education and in outside of education.
What's this page?
This is BombBomb.
This is BombBomb.
I'm seeing parent newsletters just got so much more engaging.
Yeah, I
Staff emails. As the principal hat, I mean, no more of those boring staff emails where I'm just mentioning all the calendar items. I mean, now you can see my face when I'm talking to you. That's amazing.
Yes, and what's really cool, Dave, is with this, when it pops up in your email, you can hit the reply button and send a video right back.
And so one of the reasons I love this is like that evergreen content that even when we come out of this in a month or two, this is something we can all latch onto and continue to use next year somehow, some way. This is good stuff here. I love it.
Absolutely. These are great tools. Question. Somebody, Cindy asked, do you need to have an app? So if you sent me a BombBomb to my phone in a text message and I clicked on it, do I need the app to read it?
You don't.
There you go, Cynthia.
So Cynthia, on your phone, if you open it in email and click the link, it's going to open it in the web browser.
Or text. She said a lot of her parents don't have access to email, but they have text. So that's the question.
Okay, so you might not get the metrics behind it. Are you using Remind to text with your parents? Because I know you can send a link through Remind to parents. And I'm guessing it would open inside a web browser again in that way. So you just might not be able to get the metrics behind it. Cool. So those are the quick wins that I had, and I went through them kind of fast. Do you want to pull the
let's go
thing
back
back
over.
up?
Yep, so we're going to stop sharing from here. And I will go back to our presentation.
Through the comments.
Okay.
I feel like what you just did is, there's that Google Doc, or now it's a website, its own independent website going around that shows all the free resources available to teachers right now. It's got like 1,200 websites on it. And I honestly have just stopped looking at it because I got paralysis looking at it. I don't even know where to go. You just took that and made it manageable for us. You gave us some things that we can just latch onto and say, just try these right now and go, so we don't feel so overwhelmed. I mean, this was amazing. Yeah. Now I want to try to figure out how I can, like you just took the synthesis now, I ripped it all apart. I want to try to figure out how to put it all together in a nice little package now. I think that's the next step for me.
And that's the thing too, there's so many tools out there. There's thousands of tools probably to do this asynchronous, synchronous piece that we're talking about, to blend these things together. And it's what's important is do not get overwhelmed. Pick one or two things and then try them out. I have tried these things out in my classrooms and found out they were a big fail. I try it, and for whatever reason, it bombed. And it could have been I didn't prepare my learners enough. And that's part of this. When you have these tools, you must prepare your learners. Give them time to play in the app. Step back for a few minutes. We talked about this last week. Give them time to learn it. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was me. Maybe I didn't do a good enough job setting it up. Or maybe this tool just doesn't work for what we're trying to do. That is okay to try it, review it, figure out what it was, and push it aside and move along. You're eventually going to find something that's going to fit into your routine, your students are going to like it, and you're going to go with it. So, but we have shared with you some really good tools tonight. I think that will help get you to be able to use video in this asynchronous way of learning. It'll free you up. You can deliver your lesson one time, stick it in one of these players, and launch it. And what's neat about that is once it's launched, you can care for your people, your students, your learners in a more caring way, a better way, because you're not teaching this lesson over and over and over, this live lesson over and over again through Zoom. You've shared it. Now you get some of that time back to send and build a newsletter like Bethany shared with us in BombBomb. Do one-on-one coaching sessions through Zoom or tutoring sessions. So these interactive video players give you time back. You build it one time, stick it in the player, launch, and then let learners get in when they need to and do their thing.
Yeah, it is so good. It's almost flipping the paradigm for me. Where I was a week ago, I was thinking, the synchronous is going to be that sacred time where that's going to be where we deliver the instruction. But now I'm thinking, no, this asynchronous time where there's all this flexibility is where we deliver the instruction. And then that synchronous time is where we offer the support and the intervention and that one-on-one connection. So this is really good.
You bring up a good point. I know we got to jump off here in just a minute, but you bring up a good point about the flipped classroom model that's about 10, 15, 20 years old now, where you put the content in front of the discussion time. This virtual space that we're living in right now, this is the perfect opportunity to experiment with a flipped learning model. Let them your learners dive into the content where they can take their time, move at their pace, process the material being presented. Teach them how to pause the video. Us elementary teachers, we are at Lucy Calkins district, so we would teach our students to talk to the text and think and write down notes. Do that with the students in the virtual space. You can do that here too. Teach them to talk to the video. Write notes down in these interactive video players. But anyway, I could go on and on. I'm sorry. I digress.
So to wrap up as he's digressing, we have a ton of links to send out to everyone. So I know Dave has been our MC with the mailing list, and he's been kind of handling some things there. So we'll make sure we get all the links to him. So if you registered for tonight's webinar, you're on the list and you'll get all those sent back out to you. And then I have a few other comments that people have sent privately, so we'll follow up with you privately on those. And I think we'll
open up to question. Again, I don't want to keep you all. I know, where we're at in our space, we try to stick to the deadlines at times, but it is Sunday night. We don't have anywhere else to go. So if you do have a question, I'd love to hang out for a few minutes and hear your questions. And Dave's here, and Bethany, I'm sure we'll hang out.
Yeah, definitely.
So you can all unmute if you have a question. It looks like there's a small enough group of us we can do that without. I'm hoping I'll unmute all of you. How's that?
Looks like BombBomb was the hit of the night here. So question about that.
I see it. I don't know if there is a limit for the BombBomb videos, but I will tell you that, so my background has a little bit of video marketing in it. And I would say you don't want to go over a minute if you're giving them a personal message. Keep it as short and simple as possible. 30 seconds is even better. So otherwise they tune out because they are our TikTokers, right?
Helps, Dave. I muted you. I'm sorry.
No, yep, true story. I hear you loud and clear. Instagram, you can't go over a minute unless you want to go into the IGTV as well. So this is these are the people we're speaking with. So yeah.
Yep.
Anything else? Did Amy drop off? Amy's an old schoolmate from way back. I didn't see her maiden name. Didn't recognize it just now. Any other questions? Okay. Todd had a good question. Todd, we can reach out and talk. Todd's question was, hey, I don't know if y'all saw it, about actually designing a Zoom lesson. So maybe we can talk more about that. Maybe that could be our next session. So if you notice in the PowerPoint, we don't have a topic yet for next week. If you all want, what we're going to do is we're going to stop doing the Wednesday, Sunday sessions, and we're going to do just a Sunday night evening session, just one day a week. That works best for us. But if you have an idea for a topic, please put it in the text box, and we can do this again next Sunday. We'll come up with a topic. Look for us to email that out soon. Dave, do you have any off the top of your head? There's lots of things we can go. Any direction we can go for as far as.
Yeah, I know that this coming week there are a lot of people that are taking that first step. So these first couple of weeks have just been a lot of exploring, and I know the expectations have shifted in some places. So I think now that people are jumping into the pool, if you will, this week, I think a lot of those questions are going to start to rise to the surface, especially the equity piece and how to reach those people that might not be reaching in our more traditional ways. So as you have questions, as things start to come up this week, just respond to us via social media, respond back to the email, throw comments out. I know quite a few people have been sending me messages just through Facebook as these things go out on Facebook, whatever. So just reach out, and then we'll connect at some point this week and say, okay, here's the theme. Here's what people are wrestling with, and we'll make it happen.
Mark, you might not be allowed back.
And no, Mark, no. Turn off that video on Mark.
Love it.
And shout out to Alyssa. I love your little coworker there. That has been one of my favorite parts of.
I'm unmuting you. Go ahead. You share with us.
Oh, thanks.
As hard as this is for everyone, I just have to say that's been one of the favorite parts, is seeing everyone's kids and pets and everything. We're all in this together.
Yep, she has to sneak in because the camera's on. So
that's perfect.
Love
it. Yeah, our kids are old enough. I don't even know what they're doing right now. So.
They dive bomb. They don't want to be on camera.
Yeah. So great. So maybe even next week, Dave, this session is about sharing what you all did this week. Sharing out your thoughts, comments, maybe a little bit of share and tell as well. So Absolutely. If you have something this week you'd want to share out, let Dave or one of us know too. We would love to share that as well. So
sounds good. And we'll try to advertise late this week what the theme is, so that you can start to promo to your peers.
Yeah, share
Cool.
away. So, all right, guys, thank you for an awesome night. And go ahead, go back and just chill out the rest of the evening because tomorrow is Monday and it is going to be go time. So
you'll get an email from me soon, Monday or Tuesday, once we have the video, and I'll send the link to you. So you'll have all 4 videos all in one link. You can click on and watch it and go from there.
Thank you, guys. Have a great evening. Good night, Paul.
Thanks.
Good night, Susan. Good night. Yeah, I see you, Mark. Next year. Well,
there's no football right now.
Dang it.
It's the only chance we have.
No. Oh,
All right, we're still recording, so yeah, there we go. That is